Engineering. The practice of science, mathematics, that's applied to technology and infrastructure. If you're watching this video, I'm gonna assume you're one out of three categories. A, you're in high school, thinking about college, what you want to study. B, you're already in college and maybe you're undecided but have an interest in engineering. Or C, you just found this video and thought it might be interesting. Regardless, engineering is one of the core foundations of the world, honestly. You can find engineering in anything. You can find it in your house, whether it's industrial engineering. You can find it within your electronics with either computer or electrical engineering, and you can find it in your cars with mechanical engineering. As of May 23rd, 2025, I will have had my associates in mechanical engineering. So I think I'm more than qualified to talk about this. And if you don't think so, I don't care. I'm talking about it anyway. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Me personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
If you're curious about studying engineering, there are three things you gotta keep in mind before you decide to declare. You gotta think about, what type of person am I? Do I have what it takes to study? And what are the pros and cons? Does this align with what I have in mind for my own life? Before we get into those things though, I want to get some disclaimers out the way. If you are a degenerate, engineering is not free.
But what does that have to do with it?
No, he's got a point.
If you think you go bag some bitches, it's not free. If you're only in this for the bread, it's not for you. Now anyway, one of the first things you gotta keep in mind when thinking about what major to choose, especially if you want to go into engineering, is what type of person you have to be to thrive. If you don't fuck with math, if you're not math, science, like savvy, I don't think you're gonna like it very much. Not only that, you're gonna have to be really team driven, which is not hard for many people. Think about when you and your homies is trying to text a girl and you're all thinking of ways to formulate the perfect message. That's problem solving right there. Not only that, y'all working as a team. So the same way you had the passion for texting that girl that's not gonna respond to you because she don't fuck with you, is the same way you have to have passion for engineering if you want to study it. Not only do you have to have a knack for the academics, you can't be easily discouraged. If you're one of those who just be quitting because something's too hard or you failed a little too many times, you're not gonna enjoy yourself. Take it from you. I'm sorry.
Well, damn, nigga, there's gotta be some way.
You think you're gonna get through by cheating the whole semester? All I gotta say is,
that don't work. There's no way out of this one.
you're done. You're not someone who likes to solve problems. You're not someone who is good at dealing with adversity. If you're not someone who isn't easily discouraged, it might not be the right thing. I'm gonna just tell you now.
Okay.
Lastly, you gotta be open to learning new things. My journey as an engineer taught me a lot. Not only academically, but with things that have to do with time management, networking, and a lot of different other things. What does it take? Well, firstly, it takes commitment. Again, take it from me. I spent 2 years at a university studying mechanical engineering. When I tell you I bit off so much more than I could chew, I was part of 3 different bands. I was hooping, I was in the gym, I was working on campus, and I had little to no time to focus on my actual studies, and my grades, they suffered from it. I'm not gonna lie, right? And my first 2 years at university, that was a lot of it. You know, I was trying to keep up with my work while at the same time trying to keep up with my hobbies. When we're talking about engineering, it's kind of got to be your main focus. It's one of the harder majors to study, if you ask me.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
You're going to be studying a lot of different classes like Cal, thermodynamics, chem, physics. There's a lot. The course load is a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Firstly, your first year or two will be pretty light if you go to university. It's gonna be a lot of academically based classes. So you'll cycle through Calc 1, Calc 2 your first year, and then second year probably go onto Calc 3 and differential equations. Similarly with Chem 1, Chem 2, Physics 1, Physics 2, not until your junior year will you start to get in the engineering core classes. That's when you start to see thermodynamics, dynamics, statics, intro to engineering. There's a lot of different aspects of it that you're gonna have to learn, and that shit ain't easy. Now, what else does it take? It takes time. I already talked about how much it affected me, taking more than I could actually carry, doing a bunch of stuff on campus. Reason being, you need time for your homework, you need time for the labs, you need time for group projects, and time to decompose. Because I'm not gonna lie, bro, you're gonna be in class from 8 a.m. to sometimes 6 p.m. and your mental is not gonna be okay after that. So you need to give yourself a little bit of time to just like recuperate, regenerate, you feel me? Give your mind a break while also too having the discipline to know when to just relax a little bit. Like, if you can't handle a heavy workload,
You're done.
another thing too, ChatGPT ain't gonna save you. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because a lot of the things that they have you doing, you have to really understand it for you to actually be able to pass. Because if not, you're done. You might be able to get away with it a few times, like for the homework and stuff, but the quizzes, the tests, it's gonna be in person, and you're gonna have no room to cheat. Every major has its pros and cons. You got communications, might be easy, but what are you really about to do once you graduate? Absolutely nothing. I'm not gonna lie, if you have a communications major, I'm extremely curious as to what you're gonna do with that. Same thing with social science. What even is that? Maybe I'm hating, I don't know. One of the pros to engineering, even though I did mention earlier, if you're in it for the money, it ain't for you. I can't lie, if you get a degree in engineering, the possibilities for you getting a high paying job are pretty high. Now you might be thinking, yeah, it might be high, but what are the chances that I'm actually gonna get a job once I graduate? It's a good question, because engineering actually has one of the highest job markets out there. We're in very high demand, no matter which avenue of engineering you're in, whether it's electrical, industrial, or mechanical, even computer engineering, they don't need y'all, for sure. Now, it's just a matter of putting yourself out there, making sure your resume is up to date, and being able to, network, having a pitch for yourself, which is extremely important in any facet of life, not just college or trying to study engineering. Another pro, it is very versatile. Like I said, again, and I'm gonna say this as many times as I have to, I study mechanical engineering. I can go into many different facets of life. Honestly, I could work in HVAC, I could work in aerospace, I could do automotive, robotics. There's a ton of things you can do. If you're wondering about what mechanical engineering is in general, to put it simply, it's manufacturing and design. Design process being drawing out blueprints, maybe doing some work on SolidWorks, which is a software that you use to 3D print. The manufacturing process is as straightforward as it should sound. Putting things together, building things by hand or by using robotics. Cons. I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna be stressed. That's one thing for sure. I don't know if y'all have been seeing those memes of like kids going to Waterloo studying engineering. You see them 1 year, they're all happy and giddy, and then you see them in year 4, year 5, they damn near lost half their head. It's gotta happen to me too. I think I'm cooked. I might be cooked. Am I cooked? Am I cooked? Am I? Anyway, one of the biggest cons about studying mechanical engineering, again, the workload is gonna be a lot. It's gonna take up a lot of your time, and there are gonna be many distractions. If you are going to do this, you need to stay focused. Because if you're not focused, you're gonna fail. I promise. It's up to you whether or not you're gonna decide to manage your time wisely or just mess around and do whatever you please. I mean, it's your bread, you feel me? So I don't care. But your mom might care. Your pops might care. You might care. And then when you're looking at the bills and it's like, damn, how are these niggas 10 racks I gotta pay by the end of the summer if I want to enroll in my second year. Not only will you be stressed just trying to get your bachelor's, depending on the job market, depending on where you're trying to look for employment, it might require you to go back to school and get your master's. It be like that sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. You can get away with your bachelor's, but it depends. So that's just something to keep in mind. Another con, there are times where if you get a job, you're not necessarily gonna be doing hands-on work. If that's not an issue for you, you're cool in it. But if you're in engineering because you like being hands-on, you like seeing what you're doing, there are gonna be times where you might just be working at a desk, or you might just be overseeing a conveyor belt at a factory, making sure pieces and all the units are put together the right way. And depending on the answers you have for those 3 questions will determine whether or not engineering is for you. It ain't for everybody. There's 3 types of people that study engineering. 1, you got the people like me who just good at math and science, so engineering is one of those things that they feel like they can do pretty easily. 2, you got the mad scientists that have been doing robotics and playing with their car and shit since they was like 5 years old. And 3, you got the niggas that think they go get a check right after their bachelor's, and half the time they don't even finish. You know how many niggas I know that was in mechanical engineering and they didn't even finish a semester? They just went undeclared. I mean, me personally, that ain't happened to me. I got my bachelor's. Damn, no I don't. I have my associates. If you made it to the end, I appreciate y'all for watching. This is the first video done. I invite you to like, subscribe, share with your peoples. If you're interested in engineering content, you want to hear me yap about my academic experiences or even pop culture really, this is the place to come to for sure. I wanted to try something new. I've been wanting to do YouTube for God knows how long. I just never had the courage to do so until now. So hopefully y'all mess with the content. If you have any feedback, any questions, leave it in the comments, or if you know me personally, you could just hit my phone up, honestly. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'm gonna catch y'all later.